Airlines and the ensuing chaos at the port of Dover ahead of a busy Easter travel season. There's no denying travel is back this year thanks to the pent-up demand for holidays that was put on hold during the global pandemic. So how is the industry coping with the rising demand? Well, let's discuss this with Julia Lo Bue-Said, who's the Chief Executive of Advantage Travel Partnership. Julia, lovely to have you on the programme. So it is very different, doesn't it? Depends on where you are, where you're travelling to and why, as to what your experience is.
It is, yes. Good morning. Absolutely. Like at any time when there is a very busy period of travel in particular, it becomes a very busy time at our ports, on our airports. But in the vast majority of cases, we've seen some very awful scenes on the TV, etc. In the vast majority of cases, people are able to get to their destination on time. But clearly there are some bottlenecks, particularly as we saw in Dover at the start of the Easter holidays.
Yeah, there are bottlenecks, certainly. There's strike action going on in terms of border control impacting airports as well as ports and going through the Eurotunnel, etc. Strike action in France as well, affecting people's travel plans by air across Europe. And it doesn't seem to put people off, does it? People still pack and go. That's what we're seeing.
It absolutely does. And I think, the travel industry, after 3 years of literally a shutdown, is the first Easter that people can truly enjoy some time away. The industry itself has done a huge amount to make sure that it can service customers, and meet their expectations. But as you say, industrial action, strike action, out of our control, but we're working really hard. But it doesn't stop people. People are desperate to get away, spend time with family, visit family, and get away after just dreaming about it for the last few years.
What's the cost of living crisis doing to demand for holidays this summer? Because speaking to the CEOs of key companies, such as the CEO of EasyJet, for example, he told me that actually their bookings are as high as ever, despite the fact that we're all feeling the pinch this year.
Very interesting, and I would absolutely echo that. What we're seeing is, as I said, people are very eager to get away. The cost of living prices, we're not seeing any correlation between what we're seeing at home and actually people's desire to travel. There are slightly different trends, so people are booking a lot more all-inclusive holidays, so it helps you budget. You know exactly what it's going to cost when you get out there. And also looking at different durations, so instead of going for 14 nights, they're travelling for, say, 10 nights. So still able to get away, but really adjusting what it is that they're booking to make sure they can afford it, subject to what their requirements are.
And are staycations still quite pricey? We saw the costs going up when people couldn't go overseas. Have they remained high?
I think the problem we have is in our core peak summer periods, the UK, one, cannot cope with the demand, but also, as I heard you talking about Liverpool, unfortunately, there is a tendency for it to be quite expensive. We're not the cheapest of nations as it is, so people, when they're looking to spend some money, are looking for great value. Prices in the UK have really stayed the same, but we really suffer from capacity issues, which does cause the prices to increase.
Yeah, capacity issues and staff as well. Julia Lo Bue-Said, thank you so much for your thoughts on that.